Step into the ring, feel the power, wrestling dreams. This is your hour. Heroes and heels collide, legends standing tall. Epic battles worldwide, hear the loud call.
All right, let's dive into this AEW WrestleDream, huh? We're going deep on this one, beyond just, the match listings.
Absolutely. We're talking about the storylines, what's at stake, all that good stuff that'll really make you feel like you're a part of it.
Right, you've got your finger on the pulse of AEW. So, WrestleDream, October 12th, Tacoma Dome.
Tacoma Dome. That's going to be electric.
For sure. Second year running for this event. And I gotta say, even just looking at the card, AEW's bringing the hype.
And they're building something special with WrestleDream, it seems like. It's more than just a one-off event.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. You always bring the insight. So where do we jump in?
Well, we have to start with this Danielson versus Moxley match, right? I mean, AEW World Championship on the line, but it goes way deeper than that.
Come on, you say that like any match with Moxley isn't personal. The guy practically bleeds intensity.
True, true. But this whole thing with Danielson, his whole vibe changing since Moxley turned on him.
Yeah. And you mentioned that quote, right, about Danielson embracing his dark side.
Exactly. That's not just talk. We're seeing it in his matches. This isn't the same Bryan Danielson we've seen before.
It's like he's breaking free from the Blackpool Combat Club, but in a way darker way than I think anyone expected.
And speaking of the BCC, don't forget about Wheeler Yuta stuck in the middle of all this.
Oh man, talk about a rock in a hard place, right? Mentor versus friend, brutal style versus, well, even more brutal style.
His decision here could change everything. Does he side with his mentor, or does he stay loyal to the Blackpool Combat Club?
And you know AEW loves a good surprise or two. That rumor about, well, certain McMahon possibly showing up.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, all right? Pure speculation at this point.
Okay, I know. Got to stay in the world of, what's it called? Kayfabe.
Kayfabe.
Yeah, it's it. But you got a bit. The possibility just adds another layer of what if to WrestleDream.
Speaking of what if, Will Ospreay defending the International Championship against, get this, Kenny Omega and Dakota Ibushi. Now that's a story and a half.
Whoa, hold on. Omega and Ibushi together. Didn't they have that, massive falling out? What happened there?
It's a long story, but they've patched things up, or at least decided to put aside their differences for now, all to go after a common enemy.
Who? Don Callis and Will Ospreay.
Bingo!
All right, so we've got Callis, who, let's be real, loves to stir the pot.
Understatement of the year.
Right. Yeah. And he's been mentoring Ospreay, using him like a weapon against everyone, Omega, Ibushi, a whole lot.
It's a recipe for chaos, and I am here for it.
This is why we love wrestling, right? Personal grudges, championships on the line, and a manipulative manager pulling strings in the background.
It's like a soap opera, but with more body slams. And speaking of high stakes, we have Mariah May defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Willow Nightingale.
This is the one you said might be a bigger challenge for May than it looks on paper. Right?
And this is where things get interesting. This match, it's not just about winning for either of these women.
You're talking about May and Nightingale, right?
Right. May, I think she's got something to prove here.
Because of that comment about her facing underwhelming opponents.
Yeah. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But Nightingale, she's using that, building momentum, ready to show everyone May's reign is more about luck than anything else.
And let's be real, the crowd loves an underdog.
Yeah.
Nightingale's got that in spades. But, okay, switching gears for a second, we got to talk about this ROH World Championship match.
Oh.
Mark Briscoe defending against Chris Jericho.
Oh, man. This one's going to be emotional.
You'd think. Jericho bringing up Jay Briscoe's memory like that, man, that was low.
Even for Jericho, that was pushing it. But it's a tactic, right? Get under Briscoe's skin, make it personal. And we know what happens when things get personal in wrestling.
Things get messy. But Briscoe, he's been on fire since he won that title. You really think Jericho's mind games are going to work?
Jericho's a master of that stuff. Don't underestimate him. Plus, he's been ROH World Champion before. He knows what it means, what it takes.
So we've got history, mind games, and a whole lot of heart on the line in this one. Okay, before I get too hyped up, let's talk about Swerve Strickland. He's back and teasing some big stuff.
Right. Next evolution, connections to, and I quote, a certain former WWE star. It's got everyone talking.
See, this is what I love about AEW, the surprises. Okay, but give me your best guess. Who's Swerve rolling with? Could it be MVP? The Hurt Business reunion? Heck, I can dream, right?
Hey, stranger things have happened. They had that undeniable chemistry back in WWE, and bringing the Hurt Business to AEW, man, that would shake up the tag division for sure.
And speaking of tag teams, Private Party is getting their shot at the AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks.
It's their biggest opportunity in AEW so far.
For sure. They've been around since day one, but haven't quite hit those championship heights. This could be it for them.
It's going to be a clash of styles, that's for sure. You've got the Young Bucks, all flash and high-flying, and then Private Party with their own brand of athleticism.
And then there's Darby Allin versus Brody King. Talk about a clash of styles.
Brutal. It's going to be brutal. You've seen their matches before, right?
Back in the day, yeah. Allin, always pushing the limits no matter how much punishment he takes. And King, the guy's a monster.
If you like your wrestling hard-hitting, this is the match for you.
Yeah, wait for that one. Okay, and we can't forget Hangman Adam Page going one-on-one with Jay White.
Now, that's a match with some real intrigue.
Right, both guys with something to prove. Page is trying to climb back up after losing the AEW World Championship, and White. He wants to prove he's still a top guy after coming back from that injury.
And his return was pretty epic, saving Juice Robinson, then immediately calling out Page.
The guy's got guts, that's for sure.
It was a statement, no doubt about it.
All right, before we get back to the main event, what about these other matches? You mentioned some stuff happening on the 0 Hour pre-show.
Oh, yeah. We've got Atlantis Jr. defending the ROH World Television Championship against Brian Cage.
Brian Cage. Isn't that the guy who, like, bench presses cars in his spare time?
Something like that. Atlantis Jr.'s got his work cut out for him, that's for sure.
David versus Goliath, Wrestling Edition. What else we got?
The Acclaimed versus MXM collection. That's always a good time.
Especially if you like pre-match raps and creative uses of scissors.
You said it, not me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Anna Jay versus Harley Cameron. Should be a good one.
Those two are going to tear the house down. I'm calling it now.
And wrapping things up on the pre-show, Hologram versus the Beast Mortos.
Wait, the 2 out of 3 falls match for the FTW Championship?
The one and only. Those two are going to beat each other senseless.
And don't forget Jake the Snake. Roberts in Mordos' corner, whispering dark secrets and whatnot.
Always a wild card, that guy.
Speaking of wild cards, you think that potential McMahon we talked about might make an appearance during one of these matches?
Wouldn't that be something?
You know, it's funny you say that.
What's that?
About a WrestleDream moment, you know?
Right.
Because it feels like that's what this whole event is about, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Anything could happen.
Exactly. And that just brings us back to this main event, right?
Danielson and Moxley.
Danielson versus Moxley, AEW World Championship on the
Yeah.
line. But with all the history, all the intensity,
The betrayals, the mind games.
Wheeler Yuta caught in the middle,
Man, where do you even start trying to predict a match like this?
you almost can't.
It's like they've become the heart of AEW in a way.
They've pushed each other further than anyone thought possible.
And you can see it, right?
See what
How
they-
it's changed Danielson.
Oh, absolutely.
He's always been, you know, incredible in the ring.
Technically sound, yeah.
But now there's this edge to him.
An aggression, a ruthlessness.
Yeah, like he's willing to do whatever it takes.
And that's the question, isn't it?
What question?
What will it cost him? If Danielson wins, who is he then? Is this the price of victory?
Man. And Moxley.
Don't even get me started on Moxley.
The guy just thrives on chaos.
He's a force of nature.
You can't control him. You can't predict
You
him.
just hold on and see what happens.
And then there's Yuta, right?
Can't forget about Yuta.
He's got to make a choice.
A choice that could define his career.
This is Shakespearean stuff, man.
No kidding.
No matter who wins, someone's going to lose.
The fallout from this, from WrestleDream, it's going to be huge.
So before we let everyone go and get ready for this PPV, what should they be looking out for?
Pay attention to the details.
What do you mean?
The little things, the looks, the gestures.
The stories behind the story.
Exactly.
Mm.
Because that's where you'll find the future of AEW.
Man, I love this stuff.
Me too.
It's more than just wrestling, it's storytelling.
The best kind of storytelling.
And on that note, I think we're ready for WrestleDream.
I know I am.
To everyone listening, thanks for diving deep with us. It's going to be a wild one.